heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you. So tell me, do you feel the way that I feel? Then tell me, would you give what I'm willing to give? And I believe in honesty, and I believe it's true. And I believe if you set it free, it will come back to you. And I believe that things were meant to really be. And I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.
Hey, you guys. Okay, welcome to Cancer Kickers. Hi. I don't know if I'm live or not, but for everybody who's listening, thank you so much. I'm going to try to get into the chat room here, and so it seems, all of the Vincent Easley fans, that Vincent has been kidnapped. Kidding. Don't know where he is, and he usually does the show with me. So he's not with us today, but thank you guys all, everybody, for listening. I really appreciate it, and really appreciate it. And so what I want to do today is, actually, you guys have been emailing me and Facebooking me with a lot of questions, and so I feel like today what I want to do is go over remedies. Things that have worked for me in the past. And for the new listeners, those who don't know, ever since my teens, I kind of dabbled in alternative medicine. I would just stumble upon it. And then when I was 32, I was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and the Western medicine doctor said, I'm saying it fast for those of you who have already heard this story a million times, and thank you so much for tuning in again. But diagnosed with terminal cancer, and even with chemo, radiation, and surgery, they didn't guarantee that I would live. It would be a 50-50 chance because it was such an aggressive cancer, and it had already made it into the lymph nodes down near my hoo-ha. That's a medical term, hoo-ha. And so I rejected all Western medicine. I started really, really studying alternative medicine, rejected it, and went over to alternative medicine and just started, over and over and over again, learning new things, learning new processes, learning new ways to heal yourself, got on the road, visited many, many, many physicists and scientists, and cured myself within 8 months. But I had cures for other things as well, and I know a lot of you guys have been asking me, and I just want to say, I'm not 100% anti-pharmaceutical. I think some of the pharmaceuticals are very good. I am anti all of this suppression on alternative medicine and suppression to keep you ill. That I am anti, but in regards to the other stuff, there are some, and we're going to talk about that today because there's a couple of pharmaceuticals that actually, things made by the pharmaceutical companies that actually, excuse me, have worked very, very well. I've seen them work very well for other people. They were not what they intended to be, but yet somehow there was this sort of side good effect that is curing a lot of different diseases. So I would really like to know if I'm on air. That would be fun. So anyway, I want to just do my shout-out. My good friend Carol Miller, who I'm staying with right now, and I can't say what she does for a living because I don't have her license number in front of me, but she's extraordinary, and thank you to her. Lisa Smith, if you're listening, thank you so much. Always hanging in there. Becky Haynes, always in there with us, hanging in no matter what kind of technical difficulties we have. JJ, one of the hosts there. Jules, who's amazing, who owns the station. And Cynthia Farrell, who's always been so supportive. Corinne Harding, you know, Brian Jacobs. I almost hiccuped. Did you hear that? I gotta stop drinking scotch in the morning. So just a big shout out to all of you guys, and thank you so much, you know, for hanging in there. And I am gonna, you know what I'm gonna do, and I hope I don't knock myself off, but I am gonna try, you guys, to get over to the chat room and see. And if you guys are listening, if you guys, can you get in, any of you guys, if you get into the chat room and tell me if you can hear me, because I'm not sure what's going on here, if I'm live, because what I'm hearing is a little bit of like, what am I hearing? I'm hearing dead air. That's never good in my headphones. I'm hearing the dead air, so I don't know if this is really going on or not, and so we're going to give this a try. Let's see here. Okay, so I am on. Yay! I'm on. And now, once again, still, I'm going to try to get over to the chat room and see who's with me here. Thank you guys for hanging in with me. And through all of this, UCY is going through, actually, let's give UCY a plug. Okay, sorry about that pause. UCY is going through a whole lot of different changes and things like that, and Jules, again, the station owner, is just, you know, incredible. Such a brilliant woman, and she's doing all these changes to improve and go on. Okay, I'm in the chat room. Okay, you guys, call-in number, thank you. Russ Tanner, hi. Joe Friday, hi. Let's see, Jules. Yeah, Jules is there. I thought Jules was taken off. Jules had emailed me, and she said that she had to take off, and yes, you're live. Thank you, Jules. Becky, I am. Hi, Cynthia. Hi. How's it going? Becky, am I saying your name right? Becky, I-A-M. Becky Yam? You guys, I'm so not, as you know, you guys have been laughing at me, and that's great. But you've been laughing at me about how I'm so not like techno language and, you know, quick language and all of that stuff. Thank you so much, Becky. Pop in and see if we can hear you. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So all of you in the chat room, who kidnapped Vincent Easley? What happened? What happened to him? You know, the thing is about Vincent is he has a second career, and so sometimes he gets really busy with that. His second career is a cross-dresser. I don't know if you guys know that. And he goes and he does live shows as Liza Minnelli and sometimes Bette Midler. I am Becky. Okay, Becky, sorry, that is your chat. I am Becky. Okay, duh. Becky, sorry, I'm retarded. Sorry about that. Okay, I got it. I am Becky. Yeah, so anyway, since Vincent decided to abandon me, I can only guess that he's doing his cross-dressing routine and stripping at the same time. So hope you guys are laughing. I hope Vincent listens to this, and I hope he's laughing because, you know, we've had a couple of guests on the show that we knew had lady parts, but Vincent asked me to never tell you guys that he, too, has lady parts down there. But since he's nowhere to be found, Vincent has lady parts. And Becky's laughing. Good. At least one person out there is laughing. And right now, we're searching for an alternative medicine cure to cure his lady parts. But we haven't found it yet. So, we're working on that. So you guys, now, he can get those cut off. Once again, Western medicine, it has its advantages, especially if you have lady parts. Other than that, I don't know. But they are good, for certain things and certain surgeries. Just one second, you guys got to take a sip of water. Okay. So, again, like I said, I want to talk about remedies because you guys but you've been asking. And let's talk about, all of my migraine sufferers out there. Let's talk about this first. I have nothing but empathy for you guys. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, in my late teens, early 20s, like horrific migraines, to the point where I would lose my speech. It was just, the pain was so much. And I know some of you have endured this for years, and you know what I mean? I couldn't talk. It was just too painful. It was like my whole mouth went numb. It was that much pain. So I did have, I went to Western medicine, and back in the day, I don't even know, you guys tell me if you know this, I don't even know if they prescribe this anymore. There was this painkiller called codeine. I liked it. I think it's a derivative of cocaine. So it helped to a certain degree, but again, with that kind of stuff, when you're trying to function, it's great if you can lay down, you know what I mean, and meditate and let it take over, but there were so many side effects. It was so difficult to function. I was crazy busy. And so, you know what I mean, it took its toll. So anyway, one of the remedies is one day, there was two people that I really wanted to go out to dinner with, and one of them was my best friend and her friend and blah, 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 and I really wanted to go, so I was going to push through it. And I just remember we were going to a Mandarin, I guess it was, restaurant. I remember on Hollywood Boulevard walking up the street and just thinking, I am not going to make it. You know what I mean? The sidewalk was almost rolling in a sense, and in so much pain. And you guys know, when you have migraines, you cannot eat. It's just, forget about trying to eat. So I just wanted to be a part of the social thing that was going on. I was like, well, I'm just going to eat whatever I can and try to get through this. And, oh, okay. Hi, Becky. Becky just told me it's still out there. Codeine, I guess, is one of the lowest forms of opiates. Okay. Yeah, I haven't taken prescription medication in 20-some years, so I don't even know what's out there anymore. I know there's all of these fancy schmancy, way high, stuff, but I think the last prescription I took was from the dentist, and for a toothache, or getting dental whatever work done. And have you guys ever taken this Vicodin? I took Vicodin, and I know some people it works for them. It turned me into a complete psycho. And like I said, I love drugs. If there wasn't a side effect, I'd be on drugs all the time. If there wasn't a side effect, I love drugs. But and I'm kind of a mellow person, as you guys know. Hold on, guys. Becky's saying something else to me. I am whaling PDR. I don't know what PDR means. I'm whaling PDR, LOL, not by choice. I hope whaling you mean laughing, Becky. Anyway, so this was I'm dating myself. This was the new painkiller or whatever called Vicodin, and I took it, and I'm not an aggressive driver. I'm la-di-da, we'll get there when we get there. Better to get there alive than to not make it and be dead, blah, blah, blah. I turned into a complete sociopath. I swear to God. I was yelling at people just for being on the road. They weren't even doing anything. They weren't doing anything wrong. It just made me crazy. I just couldn't handle it. So, okay, this is kind of fun, actually. I'm having a good time. Becky's chiming in. Thank you, Becky. That's the higher dose. Why is on the street? Then they go up to walking position desk reference. Oh wait, I read two different posts. Sorry about that. Then they go up to oxys. Okay. Becky, you seem to know a lot about this. Are you a drug dealer? Are you my new best friend? Thank you, Becky, for all this information. Well, okay, so I was talking about migraines. I kind of want to segue into something else, but I'm going to finish. One more sip of water, guys. Hang on. It's actually tequila. You know, who am I kidding? That's an opiate, right, Becky? Tequila? Anyway, okay, so I'm going to finish with the migraine stuff. Now, as you guys all know, that I am constantly mind, body, and spirit, right? You take care of those three, you will never be bothered with whatever that particular, challenge is. I'm going to get to the body part first. So anyway, back to the Mandarin restaurant. All I could get down was rice. And I did get interested in the conversation. So that's a bit of the mind. I got a little bit of a distraction. And I will say part of it, a small part, was the distraction. But what I did was white rice, full-blown soy sauce, full-blown salt soy sauce. Like none of this, no salt stuff. The regular good old soy sauce and Perrier. And so it doesn't matter where you are in your migraine. Best if you catch it at the very beginning. It will, like I'm saying, about 97% of my feedback from other people who've tried that, like gone in a half hour. And I don't know what it is about the combination of the soy and the carbs and the water and the bubbles in the water and the gas in the water, but something about that, like, it was gone. And I didn't even realize it. I was all involved with the conversation. I was like, oh, my God, my migraine's gone. So then, of course, I didn't do the spiritual work, so it did come back. But I kept trying that same experiment. And oddly enough, I don't know, and I'm not product placing. I should be. Perrier and White Rice should be paying me millions of dollars right now. The White Rice Company. But that's a joke. But I'm not. I just want to give you guys my information because I tried it with other bubbly water and it didn't quite work. And they all have their different ways of manufacturing and things like that. And for some reason, the Perrier worked. So Becky, my new best friend Becky, let's see, DFDD drug, ha ha ha. My dad would have me study at the drugs in the 80s with that book. I have always, this is Becky talking, kept, I don't have my glasses on, kept one just out for curiosity. Yeah, Becky, me too. I'm very curious. Well, it really all does, was soy sauce and what was the second? Okay, Becky. Good. I'm talking too fast. Okay. Thank you, Becky. Becky's my new co-host, you guys. Okay. White rice, brown rice, whatever, for some reason, it just doesn't work. It's interesting. It's just the combination of all of these sort of, they're atoms. They're, you know what I'm saying? Different, atoms. And so it's white rice, soy sauce, full sodium soy sauce, and Perrier. For the migraine sufferers, because what I want to say is make it as much on an empty stomach as you possibly can. I experimented with that, the empty stomach. So my migraine sufferers, I just bit my tongue. I'm pretty happy about that on air. So now I'm going to be talking with a list. If I start sounding like Cindy from the Brady Bunch, Cindy Brady, I just bit my tongue. So there we go. Are you laughing, Becky? Anyway, so for whatever reason, the atoms and the way they work together, it's that combination of those three. And like I said, the best case scenario, I was going to say for my migraine sufferers, usually they do have an empty stomach because you can't eat. And just try to get at least 5 spoonfuls down and let it sit for a second and let the signals from your stomach go to your brain. You're going to feel a little bit better. At least you're going to feel like you're going to want to eat a little bit more, and then keep eating it and just be patient and go slow and just do the best that you can. And I would suggest, finding that distraction, whatever it is. Becky says you crack me up. Becky, you're awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep going and being obnoxious today. So thank you, Becky. So the second part to that, the distraction would be now any kind of comedy, a light comedy, not a heavy, there's some great comedies out there and they make really important social statements. Not so much for the migraine and the distraction, like the stupidest comedy you can think of, whatever your favorite comedy is, which pours into, I've mentioned this before, but when I had cancer, also what I did was I watched only dumb comedies. Like Marx Brothers, and I love the Three Stooges, and silly comedies like that, only because, and I've mentioned this before on the show, so I won't stay long on it, but because I had read the book, and then they made it into a TV movie about a senator back in the 60s, I think, 50s, 60s, who cured himself of terminal cancer using only high doses of vitamin C and watching comedies. And so I know a lot of you out there, you guys all know about, like, all the studies that are going on now with the hormonal release with laughter and, what healing effects and modalities and effects on the body that has as well as it releases all kinds of different chemicals. We really actually do have all the chemicals in our body to, manufacture and remedy anything that's going on. Becky says, we got to laugh. We got to laugh to heal. Oh, yeah, we got to laugh to heal. We can't get well in anger and chaos. Norma Cousins. Thank you, Becky. Yeah, totally true. Totally true. And if I have time, well, Becky's completely right. And if I have time, I'll get into that and why, actually. Because I was, very angry prior to my cancer. My life wasn't going well, that kind of thing. Very angry young girl, not happy, a ton of chaos. So, you know what I mean? When you look at my life, even though from the outside, you know what I'm saying? My career started taking off and, it looked really nice, you know what I'm saying? But the internal world was a mess and it's my fault. And I take responsibility for that and I take authority on that and the people that were going on in my life. By the way, I wouldn't name drop this, but it's been all over the media, is that it's so interesting, even for me, you guys, even for me, when I, look at people in the outside world, and it kind of looks like they're on television or whatever, and all these great careers, and you're like, wow, that's really interesting, and I just saw a host from ABC News, and I just read the headlines that she entered rehab again. I was like, I had no idea. Isn't that interesting? Love if you guys chime in. It's very interesting to me. I guess they're right. The grass is always greener, on the other side. Becky's saying the man who cured himself with laughter it's a question. Okay. I got you, Becky. Okay, Norman Cousins. Was that the guy, the man who cured himself of cancer with laughter? Was that the U.S. Senator? I don't know if any of you guys remember that, oh my gosh, back in the 70s, they put out these really good movies for television. They were like an hour and a half long, and they really picked interesting topics. And some of them were really, or I think they were good. I should go back and look at them because, and I think this one, and I know Ed Asner was the star. He played the senator of this TV film movie for TV. And it used to be and if I can remember, I watched a documentary on the producer who came up with this, and it used to be Tuesday and Wednesday night movie of the night, something like that, and they were all produced independently. And I think you guys will have fun with this because Steven Spielberg's first full-length film he ever did was one of those. And Dennis Weaver was the star, and it was something about a truck chasing him, but it was really good. But that was his directorial debut. As far as my information, I wasn't there, so I can't tell you for sure. Becky's saying something. Like you, Cynthia, I might keep this to myself. This might be personal. Hold on, you guys. Cynthia, go ahead. Yeah. Okay. She did the same thing that I did. Okay, you guys. He did write a book on how to cure ourselves emotionally. Okay, thank you, Becky. From cancer, we do have. Yeah, she says we have what it takes to heal ourselves, but those. Yeah. The hurt does. She says she's saying, and I totally agree. The hurt, festers and causes havoc. Very much so, Becky. Thank you. So anyway, oh, and just for fun, there was, I don't know any of you guys, I'll get off movies, but I usually don't talk about them, but you guys keep emailing me and inboxing me and Facebooking me, you know, saying that, you know, you like it when I talk about the movies, and especially the terrible ones that I've been in. And there's been plenty. Just for fun, you guys, I don't know, some of you I know are like big fans of the film, which I think was an absolute masterpiece, Meet Joe Black. Of course, Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, Jeffrey Tambor was in it, who I studied with for years and years at Beverly Hills Playhouse. The whole full version I thought was just an absolute masterpiece. And why the director's name is escaping me, he directed Scent of a Woman. If you guys remember, you can chime in. Anyway, but actually, that was taken from one of those movies, from the Tuesday, Wednesday night movie of the week kind of thing called Death Takes a Holiday. And I actually remember that. I just can't remember the actor who played Death in that. But it was just an hour-and-a-half film. But I believe that was also taken from a book, if I'm not mistaken, and then, you know, turned into a movie of the week and then turned into the masterpiece of Meet Joe Black. That's a great distraction, migraine sufferers, because it really is good. It really takes you. If you like fast, you know, moving stuff, then that's not for you, because it really is very slow and it takes its time, but you never get bored. It's always carrying you. So, okay, enough movie talk. Becky's talking to me again. Let's see. What does Becky have to say? Oh, I can share. I think Becky's saying I can share anything with Brad Pitt. Well, Becky, yeah, there is a lot I'd like to share with Brad Pitt. So, couldn't agree more. So now I just want to get, okay, lightly to the emotional part of the migraines. And this is really tough. This is one of the toughest kind of things to tackle. So I just want to tread very lightly on it. And I just want to say, and I've said this before, that the energy behind the migraines, what I've seen every time, just in my experience, every time, there's not been an exception, is the emotional pain that's behind that has something to do with the mother. I want to jump in right away and defend mothers. I think mothers are incredible. And what they do for us, I was told a lot when I was a little girl, you don't realize all the things your mother does for you until you have a child, which I'm sure that's true. Unfortunately, I never had a child. But I could get pregnant by Brad Pitt any second, Becky. So don't cry for me, Argentina. Don't cry for me, West Covina. You never know. He's clearly quite fertile. So, but I just like, you know, we're vibrational beings. That's at the core of what we are. We run this life force through us, and that's who we are. And it doesn't matter what religion and what word label is placed on it. Some people call it spirit. There's another philosophy calls it Theia or something like that. Some Christian religions believe that God runs through you. Some say you are part of God. I think, though, that in every religion and philosophy that I've studied, there's some sort of an association to a higher intelligence. I do come from, I like to call it source energy. You guys know that I'm an Abraham Hicks fan. So, you know, I feel like that's a great sort of new word. You know, if ever you want to, like, ruin a party, you know, just because you're bored, because I've done it, just walk in and start talking about God. Just use the word God and watch the whole party go down the crapper. You know what I mean? It's I think it's the biggest button word, you know what I mean, that there is. Sex is another one. That's a big button word. Anyway, so back to being serious. This is a vibrational universe. Everything, you know, that's everything that Einstein and his mathematics pretty much, you know, explained to us. So everything's on a frequency. We are vibrational beings. Everything's on a vibration. Everything's on a different frequency, which we'll get into frequency. It's going to be important later on in the show when I start talking about rice machines. And atomic particles and subatomic particles, which we are subatomic particles. So it's all vibrational. And it's been said, a lot of philosophies, and I don't disagree, and I don't know if I agree, but a lot of philosophies say that we choose our parents on a vibrational level. We're deciphering when we're in non-physical and, sifting. Okay. Had a little Skype problem there, and I think I'm back. Can you guys hear me? Becky, can you hear me? Becky's laughing. I think I'm back. Every now and then, for some reason, Skype, pauses. It, freezes up. That's what I'm trying to say. So, I just want to, Becky, you're cracking me up. Share anything I say here. Oh, okay. You may share about cleaning our housing. Okay. I talk a lot of sex. It's really healing also. Yes, it is. Like laughter. Just hadn't had much lately. Me either. Okay, Becky. Okay, now I just got your chat. Uh-oh. Okay, yes, I'm back. Thank you, Becky. Man, Becky, you're a freaking star. Thank you so much. Yeah, me too. Lot more laughing than sex these days. Especially, I don't know why. I can't finish that sentence. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to say. Especially in I don't know why. And there it is. So anyway, back to frequency. Blah blah blah. Let's just I want to let everybody off the hook because this happened with me in my family. A mother has 2 daughters, right? She can be completely in tune with that first daughter and the needs. And it has so much to do with vibration. It has so much to do with the sign that they're born under, the energy under the stars, all of that stuff. Completely in tune, doesn't even have to think about it, and then can just provide and intuitively meet her needs. Then there can be the second one, and she doesn't have a clue. And that's what happened with me. And my mother is so dear, and she's such a sweet person. But it just didn't click. So now I'm going to go back to the scary part about the migraine headache. That the thing is that every time what I've seen is kind of rage at the mother. And there's a way through that. That's what all of those disclaimers, boy, that took such a long way to get to. I went so far around and then back again 3 times to get to that. But it's such a sensitive subject. There's no wrong here. Nobody did anything wrong. There's just, for whatever reason, it wasn't in tune. Now, the thing is that if you can just take a deep breath and say that to yourself, okay, my mother and I were not in tune. We just didn't have that frequency going. And then look for the blessing in that. A lot of times when you're not in tune with the mother, what the mother is doing is giving you a gift, showing you how not to do things, not how to go about with the choices. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they might be right for her, they might be right for somebody else, but they're not right for you. That's one blessing. So, once I worked through that, I haven't had a migraine. Rarely do I even get even a headache. And it's just so funny what a big baby I've turned into, because I remember kind of that excruciating pain. I remember the kind of pain I was going through, with terminal cancer. And what was even worse was the detox, going through that detox from sugar, actually. And what a strong threshold I had for pain. And now I get a tiny headache, and I'm calling the paramedics, and I'm calling a priest. I'm dying! So, I mean, I just that's the good news, is that I'm rarely in pain. But the bad news is I've turned into a complete baby. But we'll deal with that later. So anyway, that is a long, long way around, but that is pretty much the remedy for migraines. And if you have any questions, please let me know. But that is the mind, body, and spirit antidote that I used and always have, and it works really well. The rice, soy, Perrier, distraction for the mind, and then slowly going through the spiritual work at like possible, and I was just working with someone. I was doing a healing on somebody not too long ago, and I lightly brought that up, and man, you know what I mean? Was it powerful? She barely like budged an inch, and she was very she knew it was the truth, and yet she didn't want to really go there, and she didn't have to. Just moved a little bit, like an inch, and she got relief. So, like, you don't have to get over this issue, in 20 minutes. All you have to do is move a baby step, an inch, and you will feel the relief, trust me. So then I want to move on, since Becky is here with me, and she is brilliant, and she's writing something else. And you guys, I'm having so much fun with this. Yes, I totally agree. I didn't think I had, this is Becky talking, that experience with my mom. I lost her early on. I was 12. Okay, I gotcha. But with my two daughters, I'm just feeling the frequency with my baby girl the last few years. My eldest, I have always felt. Thanks for that. Oh, Becky, good. I'm glad I could help you. Well, I don't know, Becky, do you get migraines? I don't know about this. But just like for fun, let's just say that you did, you could, there's more. Because you know what? What's interesting, I lost my dad when I was 12. Little quinky-dink there. And, this is ugly, but I'm going to say it. A lot of times when you lose a parent, well, some people say that, some psychologists and social I can't say that, professionals, okay, they say sometimes the hardest time to lose, and it's different for everyone. There's not one blanket for everybody, but some of them say it's hardest right before and during puberty is the hardest time to lose a parent. And, I think it is for some of us, but for sure, it took me a long time to realize that I was angry at my father for dying. But we're human, and it's like, no, there's no logic there, but it's there, and you know what I mean? To deny it, if it's still there, if that vibration is still there, it's still active. And pretending that it's not there, if it's still wreaking havoc, you know what I mean? It's time to maybe, for your own goodness, like, take a look. So, yeah, I found out years later, I was really angry at my father for dying on me and leaving me with, at that point, what I considered to be the nightmare of my mother and sister. It was crazy. So, like I said, there's a million reasons for anger, and as long as I'm on anger, I think anger is not a bad thing, you guys. Oh, Becky has something else to say. Hold on, I just got to take a little sip of water. See, this is why it's good to have a co-host, because when you need to take a drink of water or your martini, they can talk. Okay, Becky is chiming in. Let's hear what she has to say. Becky, thank you so much. I'm having so much fun with you. No, I didn't, but that frequency makes sense. Okay, I had a blockage of energy from my heart to lungs that we fell out there for a second. I think we're back. I'm pretty sure we're back. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know why this is happening, but we're trying to upgrade everything, and every now and then, like, all of a sudden, like I said, Skype sort of, like, just paralyzes, and I get this thing on my screen that says, there's a problem, and it's trying to fix itself, and we don't actually also know if it's even a technical or Skype problem, because this UCY TV is such an amazing, and UCY Radio is such an amazing station that, and giving us freedom of speech, we got a lot of, like, people watching us that don't want to know the truth, don't want us to be speaking the truth, and, don't want this broadcasted, and don't want people to know any kind of truth of what's going on. There's a lot of, like, other shows on this incredible station about what's really going on with the government, what's really going on with society, as you guys all know, and all of that stuff. So we coined it the radio police. They don't really like us putting out this information to free you. and free information. So they mess with us a little bit. So we never know. It's one of three things. It's them, it's Skype, or techno, whatever. So Becky, let's see what Becky has to say. Okay, she got acupressure. Yeah, that will help at 17. Let's see. And in adult, I had to do some things to get peace. Okay. And now Becky says Skype and UC are not liking each other. Yeah, they're not. But actually, before we've had a ton of fallouts. So, like, I'm just taking this as a blessing that we've only got a few fallouts there. Okay. Yeah, great. Well, Becky, she says that I have posted, blogged quite a bit, and I keep finding different ways to put out the info. Awesome. Thank you, Becky. That's what we're just trying to do, is help each other put that information out there. Definitely. Again, I just want to say so many people, somebody else actually coined what I did to cure myself of cancer, like, quote, the formula. And I don't know how that got popular. I don't know how that got around. But then I had, like, what felt like trillions of people, wanting, quote, the formula that I used. Even people, some spiritual leaders who found themselves in, physical challenge, which I thought they would know better. It was kind of interesting. And I never gave it out. And I never probably will, only because that was just for my anatomy. And we're all different. What I keep trying to push, and Becky is so right, what I keep trying to push is that there are so many different healing modalities, and what's going to work for Becky, my friend here, might not work for me. Do you see what I'm saying? Even back to my sister, she is the closest in DNA in the entire planet right now, living planet, closest in DNA to me, and still things that work for me don't work for her, vice versa. Do you see what I'm saying? Really, the bottom line of alternative medicine, you guys, is that it is all sort of prescribed for exactly and only you. And, everything is about you and everything is for you. And if you don't think you're special, I always say this, if you don't think you're special, if you don't think you're different, then take a second and look at your hands and look at those fingerprints. There's not another set, never have been, never will be like those. And it's hard to wrap your mind around those details, but that's the truth, and that's who you are. And if you think the fingerprints, it's showing up in the fingerprints, which is pretty big when you think of it on an atomic level, think of all those atoms and the differences of the cells. So, and, I'll be the first to say there's been quite a few alternative medicine doctors who have, yes, kind of leaned towards, again, another blanket sort of protocol. They get very busy. They kind of forget because, in my opinion, the bottom line of alternative medicine is all for one. There we go. Like, just one, just you. Like, just going back to the headache remedy, maybe, 5 drops of soy is going to work for me, but you need 10 drops. Do you see what I'm saying? Just because you're that different. And it would be that different, again, for the closest DNA match I have on the planet, my sister. It would always be, that's how unique you are, that's how different you are, and, you need to kind of take and look at that and validate yourself, and, like, there's not another one like you, you know what I'm saying? And your body is telling you that. So, that's what I did with cancer, is I just went out on this journey and found what was going to work for me and my body, and, we can get ballpark on the spiritual stuff, but what's going to work spiritually for me might not completely resonate and be a perfect, vibrational match for you. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, when I'm talking about the mother, that general ballpark, it can be anything. There can be rage about anything. You know what I'm saying? So, it's always worth, a look and good to chew on the mind, and see what's going on there, because it can be, there's a myriad of different subjects on which, you could be hurt by and disturbed by. And Becky is right. Becky is saying, and that's very true. And, when the hurt happens, it will stop the energy moving. You guys know that I've been trained for 18 years with the Essenes who wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls. Jesus Christ was an Essene. That was Jesus Christ. That doesn't mean I'm a Christian. It just means that I studied those techniques that Christ was using to heal. And what that comes up with, and again, this is another one, it's really been, it's not failed me yet in 17, 18 years, is the chakras and the different parts of the body that they rule. So, like everything, the Essenes tell us, like everything on this time-space reality is in motion, meaning, the Earth is, and my scientists know the Earth is, twirling 90,757,000 seconds a minute, whatever. The ocean is moving. There's always motion in this time-space reality. So, and that is true with our bodies. As you know, there's always motion. The heart is pumping. The blood is moving. You know what I mean? You're breathing in and out. All of this stuff is going on, but also the energy is moving through the chakras. And when there is something hurtful and or a trauma, like there's kind of like, when you prepare for trauma. Becky's talking to me. I'm sorry, Becky, I haven't read your post yet, and I'll get to him in 2 seconds. When there's a trauma, and like any kind of trauma, like you prepare for it, and you're like, like you get very tense. That was a cute noise, wasn't it? It sounded like I was about to make a duty. I wasn't. I was just doing like what it sounds like when you're tense. I know that was gross. That was very gross. But I'm gross. You tighten up. Do you see what I'm saying? And that stops the energy. And if it stops there long enough, it's going to, I know Becky, it's going to wreak some kind of havoc, a long enough time, as it happened with me, it's going to wreak some kind of havoc in the body. This is Becky. Cynthia, you have looked into cranial work? Oh, quantum, oh yeah. I have been by an ocean. I feel a flow with that, not this thing they call time. Let's try that again, Becky. I think I'm reading this wrong. I have to be by an ocean. I feel I flow. Okay, with that. Okay. It's okay. I talk a lot. Becky's still talking. It's wonderful to connect. It's wonderful to connect with you, Becky, with a few links. So I'm just curious. So Becky says that she needs to be by the ocean. Don't blame you. Love the ocean myself, very much so. Curious if you are a water sign. Are you a Pisces, a Scorpio, or Cancer? Doesn't necessarily have to be true because I'm a Virgo. Hey, my birthday's coming up next week. Yeah, I'm going to be 157. See? Alternative medicine works, you guys. Come on. But, I have also, I've noticed a great sort of, my body has a great response to the negative ions. And some people do, some people don't. I really feel it. I agree with you, Becky. So it might be that because I'm a Virgo, so I guess I'm supposed to be very happy in the mountain or the desert or whatever, and I like that. But I too, I'm right there with you. With something about those negative ions coming off the ocean. And, it's my show. Am I allowed to have an opinion? I know some scientists out there were saying that negative ions are bad for you. I think that's bullshit. Oh, I just said it. Sorry, you guys. Oh, Becky's a Virgo. Okay, the 7th. September 7th, I'm guessing. So, I don't know, Becky. I don't know. Maybe us Virgos, we just need to be by the ocean for some reason. Mine is the 27th. Funny. Mine's August 27th, and Becky's birthday is coming up September 7th. So happy early birthday to you, Becky. So I'm like, okay, you guys, I got to tell you something. I was a little nervous about having to do this all on my own, and I've already run out of time, and I didn't think I was that much of a chatterbox, but I guess I am. So not run out of time, but it's what time is it? It's 2:49 right now, and there's so many things I wanted to get to. So that's crazy, but I've been having fun with Becky. Hold on, glass, a little drink of water, martini, whatever. Okay, so you guys, real quick, I just want to get this out there. Back to pharmaceuticals, because I got Becky here, who's so knowledgeable and has been so helpful through this show. Back to the pharmaceuticals. I'm going to talk really quick, and so I'm sorry if I'm talking too fast for you because I didn't realize how much time I was running out, how much time was running out. I'm only familiar with this. This is pharmaceuticals. I'm only familiar with this because my father, who I mentioned, who died, when I was 12, but prior to that, he had a constant problem with stomach ulcers. He got a prescription for a drug called Tagamet, and so that's the only reason I was familiar with it. It was a prescription at that time. As a lot of you guys know, a lot of the pharmaceuticals, they lose their patent after 7 years, and they can go over the counter or go over on a lesser dose. Tagamet did. So I have this wonderful article, and I'm sorry for talking so fast, and if Vincent Easley ever comes back from being a cross-dresser, or if he does survive his lady part surgery and he comes out okay, and I think we should all, say a prayer that the lady parts come off okay and he's going to be himself again. I'll have him post this for you guys. There's this incredible article about Tagamet to heal herpes and shingles and a myriad of other viruses. Basically what the article was is the doctors were asking the pharmaceutical companies, why are my ulcer patients coming back cured from all the herpes? Because, you guys, there's 127 different strands of herpes. Do you guys know that? Yeah. And I'm, I want to take the button off of herpes, so I'm just going to say herpes, 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 herpes. Let's take the button off of it, because there's, so many different things, if you have a particular neck ache, if you have a particular back ache for no reason, that's herpes. And it's not just genital or on the mouth or whatever. So, again, the doctors are like, and shingles, which I guess, is extremely painful. And for whatever reason, just the past, year and a half, the pharmaceutical companies decided to make shingles a very big sort of ad, because I haven't seen anything ever advertised for shingles, a pharmaceutical for shingles. I don't watch a ton of TV, so I could be wrong, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing this new drug for shingles. And I guess it's it's from the same virus. It's from the herpes virus and the chickenpox virus. And there's these particular viruses that behave in a certain way. And so is autoimmune deficiency, you guys. Everybody who has autoimmune. This virus behaves in a very specific way. And I'm looking at the time, and do I have time to explain it in layman's terms? Yes, I do. So basically, there's this whole plethora of viruses, and I'm not going to do the scientific explanation. I'm just going to give you layman, like I said. So the autoimmune, chickenpox, and a lot of people are arguing that we are born with chickenpox, and it takes another virus to activate it, but all of these viruses hide in the connective tissue. It's not until the immune system takes a pound, whether it's environmental or emotional or mental or all of the above, the immune system falls, and then these viruses go to work. These particular viruses, I'm going to talk about it like an army. I've talked about it on the show before, but how they behave is that, in your immune system, kind of have the general who's giving the orders, and you have the soldiers. Becky, I know you're chiming in. I'm going to get you in 2 seconds, and thank you so much. Generally, anything that attacks your system, the soldiers know what to do, and they attack whatever the bad stuff is, whether it be bacteria, viral, fungus, whatever. There's this, string of very clever viruses. Like I said, what they do is they attack the general and kind of gag him, so he can't give orders. So now the soldiers are going crazy, and that's what autoimmune deficiency is. They're going crazy and attacking each other. They don't know what to do. They don't know, So, what's in Tagamet is what's called an H2 receptor. And what it does basically is it gets in there and it takes the guys who are gagging the general, it kills them. So now the general can give orders. Now, and then the immune system and the soldiers know what to do. I'm going to have to talk about this in another show. I got to tell you guys, the person who told me about this, I had results within 10 minutes. So it turns out that Tagamet is over the counter now, and in this article, they actually asked the pharmaceutical companies, this is for stomach ulcers, which is another virus. It's so funny. We thought it was stress. Nope. It is stress, but it's a virus. That's why it works. And so they asked the pharmaceutical companies. Now, this is after they lost their patent. It was over the counter. Well, why aren't you, the people who wrote this article interviewed the pharmaceutical companies, now why aren't you telling everybody this year's shingles, herpes, that. And they're like, well, we lost our patent, we're not going to make money. And they were very blatant about it. Well, good for them, they told the truth, that's nice. But the thing is that now they're coming up with other pharmaceuticals that are going to, like, Band-Aid, you know what I'm saying? They're maybe decrease a little bit the pain, but it's not gonna cure it. So I'm talking about all of the herpes patients that I worked with, particularly breakouts in the hoo-ha, again, medical term, Dr. Cynthia, and the hoo-ha, and I didn't know this until not too long ago, that you can have these herpes, some have herpes breakouts on the boo-boo, the back, and the pooper maker, and I did not know that. But anyway, for most of the people, I know I'm bad, the pooper maker. I really just said that on air live. I hope you guys are laughing. So anyway, it can break out all down there. It can even break out on Vincent Easley's lady parts. Not that he does, but it could. So I think there's like a 3% that it doesn't work for, but that's why Tagamet works. Also, it gives the immune system like this incredible boost. So I put together this protocol of Tagamet, and I was doing some research, and shark liver oil, okay, not shark nothing, not shark cartilage, none of that. We know that's a thing of the past. Shark liver oil. It has to be the shark's liver oil. And that's curing both leukemias like crazy. The regular leukemia and the bone marrow leukemia. I was reading, and I'm getting in communication with a scientist/doctor. Shark liver oil is like an old folk medicine back in Finland and Sweden, and it's kind of a cure-all for everything. But this medical doctor, scientist, years ago, again, I think back in the 70s, maybe sooner, she took, I think it was 30 children who had the kind of leukemia that the bone marrow, it was not making the red blood cells, and like chemo and everything had failed them. Transplants had failed them. So she put them on these, a high dose of that, and every single one of them lived. So I wanted to talk about that. Definitely the combination of now I've worked with a lot of and animals. I've worked with some dogs who had that same leukemia, and they came back with flying colors. They came back 100% with Tagamet and shark liver oil. So I just wanted to put that out there. I didn't even get near the remedies because I was having too much fun. And it's 2:57. That terrible music of Ian. Let's see, Becky, you are awesome. Oh my gosh, Becky. Becky, cancer, off meds. So I'm just going to read. Becky is like talking to me. Oh, here we go. Okay. It's Tagamet, y'all. Very interesting. You got this. Okay, thank you, Becky. Note to Cynthia for later. Oh, Epstein-Barr. Okay, yeah. Hey, maybe my next show, let's talk about Epstein-Barr. I'm going to do some research because I was diagnosed with it, believe it or not. I don't think that was right. And next show, we're going to talk about all the misdiagnoses. I'm going to get cut off soon. Becky, you are the best. I hope you tune in next week. Oh, my God. Thank you. I've had so much fun with you. I'm on Facebook, J, just the letter J, J Cynthia Brooks Official on Facebook. That's it, you guys. Thank you so much. Becky, you're the best. Thank you so much.
I believe in angels, and I believe in you. I believe in the simple things in everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.